presentation is hospitality and recovery. This is hopefully a great discussion for a rising Ukraine. To introduce myself, I'm Dr. Sean McGinley. I'm an associate professor at the Dedman College of Hospitality at Florida State University. We're located in Tallahassee, Florida, USA. It's a great hospitality program. We have some leaders in the field who study all sorts of different things. My particular focus is on human capital development and careers. So, what can we do to build up people and have wonderful careers in the hospitality industry, learning skills, developing themselves, as well as organizations and communities? I've published over 30 articles in some of the top international hospitality and tourism journals, and I am very excited to be here and to figure out how we can partner together and collaborate to a better, brighter future for everybody. So I want to start the conversation on outdoor recreation and mental health outcomes. So some evidence from the great outdoors and how outdoor recreation can help people feel better in all sorts of different ways. One way is through feeling more resilient, right? Resiliency is a very important part of any community's ability to recover and take care of themselves. And we've seen this positive association between nature-based recreation and mental health outcomes, including affect, cognition, restoration, a sense of well-being, and decreases in anxiety and depression. We also have seen resiliency play out in a lot of different ways. In a study on U.S. college students, rock climbing increased resiliency scores in their sense of self-efficacy. And in a field experiment, urban communities in the Scandinavian countries that had access to green spaces for recreation had better and more resilient outcomes after the COVID-19 lockdowns were over than communities that didn't have the same access to those green spaces. And finally, people with mental illnesses report a greater sense of self-esteem, greater identity after therapeutic outdoor recreation activities, making resiliency one of the key benefits of having nature-based recreation available to people. Another way outdoor recreation helps is with post-traumatic stress disorder. So there were two studies done recently on U.S. war veterans. One group had 2 weeks after an outdoor recreation long weekend, 3 days, and those soldiers saw a reduction in their PTSD symptoms, depression, anxiety, and general stress levels. And they also saw an increase in social functioning in their ability to integrate back into the world 2 weeks after they had that experience. In a longer study, there was a 12-week hiking program that U.S. veterans engaged in. One group was an outdoor, like nature-based hiking program, and the other was an urban-based hiking program. Both groups of soldiers saw their symptoms reduced 12 weeks after they went on this 12-week hiking experience. But the effect for those who were in the nature-based hiking experience saw a stronger, more robust effect 12 weeks later, leading to better outcomes and reduced median PTSD scores for those particular soldiers. And another acute stressor that outdoor recreation can help with is recovery from sexual assault. So sexual assault survivors in Canada showed that outdoor recreation led to increases in spiritual connections, emotional regulation, acceptances, and less of them disassociating and ruminating on the trauma that they experienced. More specifically, equine therapy has been shown to reduce trauma-related symptoms of women who are sexual assault survivors. And in one particular equine therapy program in Utah, USA, a Ukrainian woman who is with us started taking those lessons and saw that her depression, her anxiety started to go down when she was on the horse and able to ride. So we see that this is something that is a common theme of general stress reduction general well-being increases when people are able to get outside and be active. As a personal side note, my mother was a teacher for people with severe degrees of autism. And when they went to the horse farm and the stables, she noticed that her students responded a lot better and had better outcomes as well with equine therapy. So, whether we're talking about people with autism or sexual assault survivors, getting on a horse seems to do a world of good for people. Another way that the hospitality and tourism industry can help is with economic outcomes. So here we'll have some evidence from industry about how the industry can help a community or country or a marketplace recover. So one thing that it can do is help protect traditional products. There are two really great examples, one from Vietnam and one from Peru. In Vietnam, there's a Haldu rice paper village where the practice of making this particular rice paper would have not become economically viable, but tourists wanted to buy it. So people started teaching the next generation on how to make this particular rice paper. So this product was preserved because tourists were there to purchase the products. In another community in Andean Peru, saw the same thing happen, but with traditional textiles, weavings, and dyeing. And they were able to sell these clothing products to tourists who were coming in to see Machu Picchu and other things. But they were able to take a skill that was part of their community, learn it, practice it, teach the next generation, and make money off of it, and protect those traditional products and that sense of identity that brought those communities together. So both of these were great examples of a product being preserved and successful community-based tourism that created a market for those traditional products. The hospitality and tourism industry can also protect natural environments. We've seen that marine tourism provides economic benefits to South Asian countries, and that economic benefit produces an incentive to further protect those marine areas because you want to keep a nice, pristine area so that tourists want to keep coming back. And they can help areas recover economically by supporting that biodiversity, conservation, and socioeconomic development. Again, you keep an area nice and pristine, and people want to come, and then more people want to come because it's such a beautiful area. We've seen this with the creation of the Giants Club with 5 countries in Africa to protect elephants. And that is an anti-poaching effort to keep more elephants around so more people want to come and take pictures of the elephants in the wild, and so on and so forth. So we see particular species or particular ecosystems. Tourism provides the economic incentive, the economic layer of protection for these areas to keep them in a natural and healthy state. This is all part of the tourism-led growth hypothesis. So in a meta-analysis of testing the tourism-led growth hypothesis, we found that there is a large effect on general economic growth as the tourism industry gets developed. The effects are stronger in the short term, the effects are stronger in the long term rather than the short term. So the benefits of tourism compounds over time rather than seeing an immediate benefit of having tourists come into a community. And we also see that different types of development investment have disparate impacts on economic growth. So job creation is highest when upscale hotels are invested in and more room capacity is built out versus luxury, mid-scale, or economy properties. And part of that reason is people who stay in upscale hotels don't have all the amenities of luxury hotels to keep them in the hotel. So when you stay at an upscale hotel, you have money to spend, but you have to go out of the hotel to spend it. Thereby, more of that money circulates in the local economy versus luxury or lower scale properties. We also saw that wage growth associated with hospitality and tourism is the highest when the industry plays a larger role in the marketplace. So as the economy gets more service oriented and more tourism, more hospitality is there, wage growth goes up, not only in the hospitality and tourism industry, but in the general marketplace. Certain specific applications for Ukraine. So how does the tourism and hospitality industry help specifically in this context. So we'll take some evidence from practice about what's going on outside of Ukraine and how that might be applied within the country. So, one of the more famous products is this bottle here of atomic vodka, and we will talk about that a little bit later on. So, one thing that the hospitality and tourism industry can do is work with art therapy. So, as skills are learned for the civilian economy post war, things like textiles, weaving, embroidery, pottery, painting, all of these things, there can be marketplaces that are created. Those markets can be goods that can be exported now, create market awareness for it, and then community centers could welcome tourists in the future. In order to give buyers a good sense of supporting the people that they want to support, some type of certification program could be created. So those who are veterans of the war could learn these skills, create products, and sell them with this certification to give them confidence in what they're selling and give buyers confidence in what they are buying. So this could be a way to help create an export market, but also to create community centers that welcome tourists who can come and see their goods. And then ultimately, if any particular products become really well known, schools could be created to welcome internationals into Ukraine so that they can learn these skills. Much in the way leather making in Florence, Italy, people still go centuries after a leather school was created there because it's known for developing those skills and creating high quality products. So all of these things could be done with traditional goods that start through art therapy, but can ultimately transition to becoming an economic benefit for the country and for individuals as well as creating space for entrepreneurship and community-based tourism. The agricultural industry could also be helped rebuild with tourism. So spreading tourists out geographically, especially to rural agricultural based communities, is good because it doesn't strain infrastructure when you spread people out so that existing infrastructure can accommodate people. People get out of real big honeypot destinations, so more of the country benefits from the tourist spend. And it can create interest in finished agricultural products. Breads, honey, vodka, jam, wine, all sorts of things can be produced, and those can be vertically integrated into a hospitality value chain. So all those dollars stay in those rural agrarian communities. You produce the food, you create a finished agricultural product, and then you can sell it at a premium for people who are coming, spending the night in your area, your community, and then they are spending money at restaurants as well as buying these goods. So that could be a vertically integrated value chain that really benefits these local areas. You can also help farmers produce local foods, right? Get traditional foods certified internationally. There's a slow food movement that was based out in Italy that now certifies traditional foods all around the world, traditional products, to increase agricultural biodiversity and to ensure these flavors don't go away. A really big trend is the use of ruined or abandoned spaces, post-industrial spaces, all over the world to create new parklands, amenities, attractions for people to come, right? So this is already sort of happening in Ukraine right now by evidence of this Banksy painting on the side of a building that's been destroyed. People want to reclaim these spaces. So there's a very famous example in New York City, the High Line. It was an old industrial railway that ran above the street, has been created into a big parkland where people can ride their bikes and walk in this beautiful elevated garden throughout the city. Mill Ruins Park in Minnesota is another great example. And in South Dakota, USA, there is an old nuclear missile silo from the Cold War that's been decommissioned and has been turned over to the National Park Service. So people from all over the world see this abandoned missile site to learn about the history of the Cold War, learn about that area, that technology, and all of those different things. So these ruins can be turned into parkland, abandoned spaces as recreation areas. As we do this, we can also link that back and create augmented reality experiences. So people can go hiking, biking, kayaking, horseback riding, all through these trails, not only to see these sites, but you can use augmented reality to show what the sites looked like before they were run and give mental health services to veterans of the war, people who have suffered because of it. And then you can also create educational services to create a sense of history and tell the story of Ukraine to international tourists when they come in and also want to go on these trails and see these sites. You can make them beautiful, again, in a different way. You can also create protected areas for the environment with tourism by using some of those tourism dollars to create parks, sites, trails, all sorts of tourist infrastructure that help monetize certain assets throughout the country that can be used by international tourists, domestic tourists, or local residents to enhance quality of life. Finally, education development. The hospitality and tourism industry can use additional educated people who study the field, who are prepared to engage in entrepreneurship, step up into managerial positions, and do all sorts of things that really professionalize the industry and make it deliver on all of its promise and benefits. So marrying our fields can help create a more robust curriculum, working together to establish current technical education, professional degrees, and ultimately learning from each other, both students and faculty, having those educational exchange opportunities so that we can learn and grow and have those diversity of ideas and perspectives being discussed, not just between teachers, but also students to make the classroom experience better and to increase the quality of education, both in the United States and in Ukraine. So, in conclusion, I'd like to say thank you again for welcoming me to your conference. I hope that some of these ideas are exciting, and I hope that we can work together on seeing some or all of them come into fruition. So, thank you again. Hope to visit Ukraine again in the near future and work together in any way that we can to help not only the hospitality and tourism industry, but individuals, businesses, and the country rebuild to be a strong and joyful place. Thank you.